Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Nerdrotic. My name is Gary Beekler, and I come to you from Nerdrotic.com. And we are here to have a short discussion about the return of the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen. I get to say it for the first time in 2021. Unfortunately, not for the last. And nothing has changed. This was a terrible episode. Was it woke? Not necessarily, but some of the vintage, horrific writing that we have gotten in the past from Chris Chibnall, who does not know how to connect a scene. I don't know how this guy has won awards. I don't know how he's been praised. I guess he's had oversight from other people. But my God, this guy cannot write an episode of television. Holy crap. And you know what you do after you had probably the worst year in the history of, humanity and Doctor Who in the beginning of the year, which really set the pace for 2020. And yes, okay, 2020 sucked more than this episode, but not by much. So what do you do after you have your worst year? You destroy the foundations, the canon of this show. You destroy what's left of the fandom. And this is, what do you do after a hashtag RIP Doctor Who, doesn't trend, but it stays relevant for an entire year? You remind everyone why this show sucks. You bring back a character from one of the worst episodes, one of the worst characters. And in the middle of the episode, you remind everyone of what you did to destroy the show. And then you, through the script, shame them, treat them like children. F you, Chibnall. F you, buddy. We're not going to get into spoilers in the first part. There's not much to spoil because this story was meandering, disconnected. It was, were there Daleks? Sure, there were Daleks at the end, but not as many as you would think. It looks like they were, their budget was cut. And it really exposed one of the biggest flaws with this show, aside from the writing. The writing is number one. Number two is the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker. She has no chemistry with anybody. And that really gets exposed at the end of this episode. Well, in the beginning and in the middle too, and all the bits in between. When she is acting next to John Barrowman, who has always oozed chemistry with the doctor. And he's never outshone the doctor in the past because he's been able to be an equal. And even, with Chris Eccleston, with David Tennant, you could tell the chemistry between those two is what actually made the show. And part of this is just the general acting of Mandeep Gill, Tosin Cole, Bradley Walsh. They just don't seem into it. It seems like they are acting. They are playing. It seems like a play. And when you have to have these, emotional moments, which Doctor Who is filled with, the part of the charm of the show is most definitely not the special effects. It's the characters and the verisimilitude in this. I'm going to borrow something from Robert Meyer Burnett. In such a bonker show, that, canon-wise, it doesn't have to make sense like a Star Trek does or any like hardcore science fiction. We're dealing with time travel here, and it's a bit, like I said, bonkers. It's the characters that drive this. And when you don't have interesting characters, and you're given nothing with writing, it really exposes everything with this. So there are no lectures. Is there any wokeness? No. I mean, anytime there's a male in charge, he's an incompetent a-hole. And when a woman is in charge, they're usually manipulated by the men. And that it was the case here, but nothing heavy-handed, really. A lot of this at the beginning didn't have a doctor. It was slow moving. And they dropped some Easter eggs in here and there for the member berries. But that's about it. And you think, what I believe is you're going to see Doctor Who and Star Trek change drastically over what has happened with Star Wars over the last couple of weeks, which has sent waves through all genre and fandom. Star Wars did something by accident. I don't know. They brought back Luke Skywalker, and people went nuts. It united fandom in ways we couldn't possibly dream. Even if I personally wasn't that into the moment, I can recognize that happened. They're probably going to try something like this with Doctor Who and Star Trek, I suspect. And they are doing something, which I'll get to in the spoiler section, that they popped in at the end, the little stinger at the end. By the way, in America, nobody's seen this. But there is a way you can watch it on the BBC iPlayer. That's perfectly legal. It's perfectly legal. I did everything proper. I didn't lie at all. And maybe not. But yeah, I was able to watch it live on the BBC. I did enjoy that Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was the lead-in for Doctor Who. got to jam a little Bryan Adams before I watched the episode. So overall, yeah, it sucked. John Barrowman was as good as he possibly could have been in this situation. But again, it played out like a high school play. And he really stood out compared to the acting prowess of Mandeep Gill. I mean, this was supposed to be Mandeep Gill's moment, right? This was her tour de farce. And, Yaz did get up. She didn't sit down. She did something. She worried a lot. And she got attacked by something, and she stuck around. But Graham and Ryan were kind of pushed to the background in this, especially Graham. Graham was barely in this episode, and Bradley Walsh looked like he couldn't get out of this situation quick enough. I think his paycheck was hanging out the back of his pocket, like halfway through. I don't know if they get paychecks or not. It's probably direct deposit, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. My God. So overall, I would give it a 2 out of 10, probably. And when I get it, I'm going to be doing a review breakdown of this, a video that'll be out on Saturday or Sunday. It'll be out, breaking it down scene by scene. And thankfully, that'll be the last Doctor Who we get for many, many months. They are going to put it out this year, I believe, towards the end. It's only going to have 8 episodes, thankfully, and that's including the holiday special. Let's not forget that this special was so special that it wasn't special enough to be on Christmas. It is my belief they had every intention of trying to make this a Christmas special, and it wasn't. They said Happy New Year in it, so... but Jodie was calling it a Christmas special in a couple of interviews that I put in a video. But who knows? If we heard that they had run out of ideas for Christmas, which is hilarious. You don't have to make a Christmas special about Christmas. But the only question I think anybody has, the only interest they have is to see how far the ratings went down. We'll have to see. It wasn't an episode that grabs you. There wasn't a lot of action because they can't do action with this set of actors. They can't run. They're the type of actors, I guess, I'll equate it to what I said about Star Trek Discovery. These are commercial actors. They should be selling toothpaste, except for Bradley Walsh. But other than that, Jodie Whittaker at best could be like the best friend in a sitcom. The annoying best friend. She'd probably be really good at that. Or she's really good at being depressed. I think, but maybe that's because my depression emotes through her from the destruction of this show. All right, so I'm going to get into a little bit of spoilers here. So if you want to take off. What a plot. Just filled with twists and turns, and it kept me guessing the whole time, and I was utterly shocked at nothing. Absolutely nothing. So the Doctor is in the Judum prison from the last episode and doing time for whatever. Remember, there was the extra TARDIS that was sent down with Ryan and Yaz. God, I'm keep blanking on her name. And Graham. And they have been without the Doctor for a while. In the meantime, the casing from the Dalek from Resolution, because that's what you want to call back to. You want to call back to the lowest rated festive special in the history of Doctor Who. And the government gets a hold of it. And there's an opening scene with a driver, and he talks about his mom, and then he's transporting the Dalek somewhere safe. He stops to get some tea, and I guess you guys have tea trailers like in the middle of nowhere in the UK. I mean, you might, I don't know, but he stopped at a tea trailer in the middle of nowhere, has some tea, and he's killed immediately. And then they take the Dalek, and, you know, they murdered this guy, right? Never referenced again, like just completely forgotten. The woman at the tea stand killed him, takes him away, and we don't see either of them again. And we really don't know what's going on, right? So we have Robertson. We have the technical secretary. I forgot her name. I don't even care. A guy named Ragazza, who was a technical expert that Robertson bought out his company. Robertson is John North or North. I can't remember his name. Mr. Big. Mr. Big. He is the Trump allegory in this. I guess, you know, I mean, he was the same Trump allegory he was before. He's just this obnoxious, duplicitous guy. And I mean, you know, doing Orange Man bad now is, well, I mean, it's always lame, but it's especially lame now. And they are building a new drone, and the new drone is the Daleks. And apparently everybody forgot about the Daleks again. Not once, not one person on Earth remembers the shape of a Dalek. They were all over the place, destroying shit multiple times. And that's not the only continuity thing they get wrong in this one, too, because they get something wrong. And this is just off of one viewing. I didn't even pause it, and I'm scratching notes through this. So when I go back and watch it again, I'll probably catch more. Yeah, so they have they're going to build the Daleks. They're going to make a security drone, and they were supposed to make a big deal out of this, and they really didn't. There's no Dalek inside. It's just the machine. And there's this cringe scene where they do a mock protest. And obviously this was, I don't know if it was filmed during, it had to be, right? No, it wasn't. No, that was before that. So they filmed it before that. But it might've been filmed. I don't know if people knew about the coup or not. I can't remember what time it was filmed. But it's very interesting that they bring this up. They bring up that there's going to be a lot of civil unrest in England, and they need the proper security. And what Robertson says is he built the iPhone of security, and it's a Dalek. And their big, impressive display during the test is the Dalek lightly spraying some water, and it looks like, I don't know, a drunk guy taking a piss. And then he sprays a little bit of gas, and all the protesters just stand there protesting around it. And it's supposed to be a display. They have cops there with shields, and the protesters are throwing stuff at the cops. But they don't bother to, like, I don't know, tip over the Dalek or anything. I mean, there was like 100 people there. It was stupid. The Dalek was supposed to be this big, scary thing, and it looked like a radio-controlled Dalek pissing out a little water. It was so pathetic. And, you know, you've got the money to make it look formidable. It looked formidable 10 years ago. And the effects have gone, everything's gone downhill. Editing, storytelling, music, acting, show running, everything. Just the catering sucks at Doctor Who now. And we all know why. They have a lot of new, inexperienced people working on it. They got rid of a lot of the old Doctor Who folks. They might have brought some in. It's not helping. Whatever they did, it's not helping. So the first female doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, I have the acronym here is FFDPRBJW in my notes, is 79 billion light years away at the Judoon prison. I don't remember seeing a single Judoon, for one. And she's counting down the days, feeling sorry for herself. She is going to tell herself a bedtime story, and she starts talking about Harry Potter. She hears a knock on the wall. She doesn't know what it is. We see a weeping angel. We see the little baby. I forgot what it was called now. The little baby thing that eats all the metal. We see a silence there. You know, I just remember Barry, blah, blah, blah. But it's totally meaningless. It's just there for show. It would have been, a prison, a Judoon prison should have been an interesting thing. There's so many stories you can tell with a Jadoon prison. And they just, member berry, so what? So we get back down on Earth. We have Yaz obsessing about the Doctor. And, folks, they're going there. They are going there. They are most definitely going. Yaz is in love with the Doctor. It's just happening. Scissoring on the TARDIS, it's a possibility. It's a possibility. Apparently she's obsessing so much that she's living in that extra TARDIS. And you saw in the trailer with all the sticky notes and stuff. And Graham and Ryan, they've been there for 10 months. And Graham and Ryan go and visit her and they say Happy New Year. So this is the one scene where it's Happy New Year. They could have reshot it. I don't know. I heard there was reshoots. And they said, you're obsessing. You need to let it go. But we found something. And they don't tell you how they got the video, but they got the video of that demonstration. They see the Dalek. They see Robertson. So they're on the case. But Yaz is definitely in love with the first female Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker. And I think I was predicting that we were one step closer to #penisless TARDIS. But that's not going to be the case, apparently. It looks like there's a big change coming. So the Prime Minister, who was the tech secretary, who I forgot the name of, who looks like a skeleton lady, is working with Robertson, and they want to build more of these Daleks for security. And it's going to take a year. So they take a year. And during that year, Ragazi, I'm not sure what his name is. I'll get it right in the video. Found some DNA, found some biomatter inside the Dalek casing. And he just decided to, by the way, he's an electronic and computer engineer, but he also is able to clone stuff. He also okay. That reminds me of Tig Notaro in Star Trek. She's the engineer, but she was able to reattach somebody's brain or something like that because people are just like machinery. Okay, fine. So he clones a Dalek. And Robertson gets mad, tells him to incinerate it. When he goes to incinerate it, the Dalek attacks him, and it becomes the guy. Meanwhile, Jack breaks the Doctor out of prison. I thought they were going to put her in there for a good long time. There's a couple of scenes, but then he just shows up. And, John Barrowman is John Barrowman. He's great. Does this besmirch his character? A little bit. Being in this does harm it, but not permanently. I'm fine with Captain Jack. They actually move the Torchwood plot forward a teeny bit. So they mention it. They mention Gwen Cooper. And he just breaks her out. So, and this was probably the one time I have laughed in Doctor Who. He had a vortex manipulator stashed away, and the Doctor asks him, it's a on-the-nose joke, but it was funny coming from John Barrowman. She's like, how'd you get that in there? And he's like, do you really want to know? I laughed. I did, because he keistered it, obviously. That's how you get everything into the pen, unfortunately. So they have a vortex manipulator. He also had this little time bubble thing where they're able to jump in this bubble and run out without being detected. They get out. It's pretty easy. It took Jack 19 years to get to the cell next to the Doctor. So they're playing with the immortality bit a little bit, but it just felt wasted because immediately when they start acting next to each other, you're like, oh. And my God, in that moment, I was cringing, but I was also really appreciating what we did get from the short time we were with Christopher Eccleston and with David Tennant. Those were like, that was shit was like magic, and it will never be equaled. It will never be equaled. It's like trying to equal Tom Baker. And when you see John Barrowman acting next to the first female Doctor played by Jodie Whittaker, it's awful. Oh, I was just there. They have no chemistry whatsoever. Jodie Whittaker has no chemistry with anyone. And that's important. That's important. One day I'll read it to you. I keep threatening this, but there is a friend of ours out there who has written an article for Penthouse Australia. And this article breaks down exactly why the first female doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, doesn't work in any way, shape, or form. And it's about attraction, and it's about and it's from a female perspective, by the way. And it's why, it's basically why women watch Doctor Who. And this had a huge female audience before. Not so sure now. They were aiming for something they already had. They just wanted to be able to say that they wanted to have the same numbers they were before, but just a lot less of us. Well, they got what they wished. Be careful what you wish for. You got a lot less of us now. So Leo gets Daleked. Doctor, and I put there, Doctor and Captain Jack have no chemistry. They're able to get into the TARDIS, and they are back. Oh, they mentioned Rose as well. They actually drop Rose, and this is where Jack talks about how he's immortal and how he's had run-ins with the Daleks before. And then Yaz says something, and then Jack, goes, oh, she's good. And I'm like, how? How is she good? She's good at standing there, saying stupid things, saying obvious things. I mean, like, I dared Chris Chibnall to have a penisless TARDIS, to just go with Jodie Whittaker and Mandeep Gill for an entire season, because I wanted to see how far the ratings would go down. So Robertson is 3D printing Daleks. He's 3D printing Daleks. Jack and Yaz go to Japan to research or to go look into a factory that Robertson doesn't know he has. That factory is Leo Dalek, and he's building other Daleks. That's where they have a confrontation with the Daleks. But the most important thing is they have a conversation about the Doctor. And they talk about, like, the Doctor leaves you when he decides to leave you. You all saw it in the trailer. But that's the moment where it's confirmed that Yaz is in love with the Doctor. Because Captain Jack's, oh yeah, I felt that too. And he's calling her out on it. So it's there. So they're making, Leo made new Daleks. Ryan and Graham, I don't really do much. They're in the background. They kind of partake in something at the end, but that's about it. This is the moment that pissed me off the most. Ryan has you could tell Ryan wants to leave. He's back. It's been 10 months. And, oh, by the way, they're all pissed that the Doctor was gone for 10 months without asking, like, hey, what happened to you or anything? You were in prison. I couldn't help it. No, they were just being little whiny babies. But Ryan, in that 10 months, decided he wants to stay home. So you could tell he wants to stay. And he sits down with the Doctor, and he confronts the Doctor about what she saw on Gallifrey, and she confirms that Gallifrey is dead. Everyone is dead. There are no more Time Lords. I don't know how that's possible, but that's from her perspective. We don't know what happened to the Master. Jack did bring up, like, hey, I told you about the last Cyberman. You didn't give him what he wanted. She said, yeah, it's a long story. She doesn't say anything. And the Doctor says, I don't know who I am anymore. I'm not Gallifreyan. She says it out loud. And she says she's angry about it. But then, Ryan tries to talk her down, and he's like, so you're still the same person. And they're trying to get, like, all meta. They're trying to tell us through the script that it's still the Doctor. It doesn't matter that she changed. And then Ryan gives her this big speech about change is scary, but sometimes you have to confront the change. And once you do, everything will be okay. That is Chris Chibnall talking directly to you and I, the critics of this show. Chris Chibnall, change isn't scary. We're Doctor Who fans. We're used to change. I'm an adult. I'm used to all kinds of change. No, bad is bad. And it's not scary. It's just bad. So I know your attitude is we're all just a bunch of dumb little plebs who don't understand the mastery of your writing and your political decisions with this show. No, it just simply doesn't work. And it's because you're not talented enough. That's it. You're not a talented writer. This is the worst run on this show ever. and you are responsible for all of it. And nobody's scared of anything. We didn't want to see our show die, and we tried to tell you over and over again, but you were too scared to listen to us. You were too scared to look at your own faults, and now your show is shit. Okay, not my fault. I didn't write any of this. But trying to tell it to us through the script, through Ryan, F you, dude. F you. He's going to go down in flames, like I said in my last video. Going down in flames. So the Daleks are back. There's a big introduction. You see, okay, so the Prime Minister, there's that introduction scene, like, we've got the new Daleks. That lasts for like 2 seconds. And all of a sudden, the Daleks go back in their casing because of the ultraviolet light. That's what regenerated the reconnaissance Dalek. So that's what was used. Oh, by the way, they used human DNA. They were feeding the Daleks liquefied humans. This will come up later. They used human DNA. So all the Daleks get back into the Dalek casing, and they start killing people, including the Prime Minister, everything else. They keep bringing Robertson back. Like, the Doctor goes to his office and brings him on the TARDIS for some reason. I'm like, why? This isn't a good character. He's just going to remind everybody of that horrible episode. Why do you keep having him around? I mean, it's not like he's charming bad. He's just bad, but I think they think he's charming bad. Whatever. So Daleks start killing people. And the Doctor's big idea, while people, by the way, are getting killed left and right, the Doctor is sitting around having a conversation about the fam. She doesn't know what to do. She's like, no weapons, no this, no that. I mean, lines we've heard from the Doctor before. And then, like in all Chris Chibnall episodes, things just get mad, happy bullshit fixed like that. It's just some nonsense. So she decides to call the, oh my God, what were they called again? Well, they're basically the SAS, the Death Squad Daleks. That's right, the Death Squad Daleks. And they are the SAS of Daleks. They try to keep the purity of Daleks, which are a mutant species. And she even mentions that up. It's kind of weird that a mutated species is so obsessed with purity, which they are. And she decides to call them, and they're only going to come down. They're not going to kill all the humans. They're just going to kill all the mutant Daleks that have the human DNA. I got a question. Now, it could have changed since then. As far as season 9 and 10 that had Daleks in them, I don't have them committed to memory of Doctor Who of the New Who, like I do the earlier stuff. But I do remember that the Daleks came back because of human DNA after the Time War. So they were already impure. Are these different Daleks from that? And maybe they are. And why didn't they have the problem with the Dalek Emperor and all that crap? So I don't know, but that's how the Daleks came back. But apparently this Death Squad will not kill any humans. It'll just kill other Daleks, which is fine. And they do it off screen. They do it off screen. In the meantime, they're going to send Gryan. That's what I should call him from now on. Graham and Ryan. Gryan. They're out of here anyway. They're on the ship with Jack, and they're going to blow up the Death Squad Dalek ship, and they're able to run around. Daleks don't really see him at first. And the Doctor is going to take care of everything else. With that extra TARDIS, which is, so they set up interesting things, Jadoom Prison. Why did the Doctor actually get locked up in the first place? They just make it a throwaway line. Oh, and they have that extra TARDIS. They just destroy it immediately. So all the other impure Daleks get killed off screen. There is a brief confrontation with Daleks, and the first female Doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, tricks them into another TARDIS and then just implodes the TARDIS, and they're all gone. That's it. By the way, Robertson he went with the Daleks, betrayed them. ratted out the doctor because when the doctor sent out the signal for the Death Squad Daleks, she said specifically, do not let them know that where this signal came from. Now, Doctor Who in the past, the doctor would have said that on purpose, knowing that Robertson would betray her, but she didn't know, and he still did anyway, but he still got away with it, and she let him go, and he's talking about being president again, and blah, blah, blah. And then there's this long, drawn-out scene of the goodbyes, because Grian are leaving, and this was so bad. I mean, think about all the departures of past companions. This is the direct opposite of that. It was devoid of any emotion. The music sucked. The acting sucked. And I just wanted it to be over. And this socially awkward, the reason they play the first female doctor, played by Jodie Whittaker, who we will lovingly call Dr. Karen, socially awkward, is because she can't act. That's Jodie Whittaker being Jodie Whittaker. That's why they gave her her own accent. Remember, she said to David Tennant, accents are hard, and so is research. I tried to rewatch some of the episodes, but it was hard. And her effort shows in this god-awful show. I'm looking to see if I missed anything. And yeah, I've got to kind of rush through this because I do have Friday Night Tights. This will be a great lead-in because we're going to discuss the episode in detail. I will try to get to some super chats, and what ones I don't get to, I'll read on Friday Night Tights. And the plan is to, it's going to be a long show tonight. It's going to be a long show. For me, anyway. Not for everybody. I think we got Jeremy for a little while. We have Az joining us. Our special guest is Just Some Guy, one of the best YouTubers out there. Happy to have him back. I'm looking to see if I missed anything. Oh, they mentioned Gwen Cooper. Oh, when Jack says goodbye, it's over the radio. It's over the radio. He doesn't even have a goodbye. Now, he's coming back next season. I don't know if that's a spoiler or anything, but Jack is coming back next season. I don't think that's a secret to anybody. More than Jack are coming back next season, but that's a teaser. I'll have to tell you, I got to wait till I can say more on that one. I will let you know. Hopefully Monday, I'll be able to say something on that. That's about it. They mentioned some torch. Okay, so Captain Jack is now back on Earth, and he's going to see Gwen Cooper. So that's your little Torchwood moment. I did it again. Grian, we'll just call him Grian, are left, and that's because he wanted to see his mates. And Graham and Ryan, Graham just went because Ryan was leaving. That was it. He wanted to stay, but he didn't want to miss his grandson growing up. And of course, Yaz is staying because she is so important to the human race, because nobody sits there like Yaz. Nobody says obvious things like Yaz. By the way, she was a cop, right? She was a cop or a meter maid or whatever your equivalent is over there. I don't know. Cops without guns. The people who say stop, or I'll say stop again. So she's staying there. That's it. No other mention of the Timeless Children other than trying to patronize your audience through the script. F you, dude. So the stinger at the end is the new companion. And who's the new companion? I recognize the actor. You guys probably all know him in the UK. I recognize him. But it's John Bishop. Introducing John Bishop. And he's a manly man. He's a manly man. And they are going to butch up the TARDIS a little bit. So no penisless TARDIS. And I will. And it is most definitely coming out this year. By the way, Happy New Year, everyone. Happy New Year. Keaton Smith for $1.99. RIP Doctor Who. Hashtag RIP Doctor Who. Keep it going. What we have learned over the last 2 weeks. Listen, the hashtag The Fandom Menace means a lot more. For one, it's just a hashtag. Individuals use it, and it's more than Star Wars. It's always been more than Star Wars. I try to keep the Doctor Who, Star Trek stuff going too, because we like these things. We love these things. I wouldn't be making these videos if I didn't love Doctor Who. Look behind me. I love Doctor Who. And I'll always love Doctor Who. But what has been done to this show for political reasons, purely petty political reasons, is an abomination. It's horrific. And it cannot be undone at this point. I would like to think that there's hope out there and you can erase all this. They will never erase Jodie from canon. And think about it. She's going to ruin episodes. Even if she's gone and they don't bring her up again, 60th anniversary episode, she'll be back. So whatever excitement we would all have with possibly seeing Peter Capaldi, Christopher Eccleston, who will probably come back for the 60th, Matt Smith, David Tennant, and Jodie Whittaker. It'll ruin the whole damn thing. It's ruined. It's utterly ruined. And they're not going to say she's not a Time Lord. And again, they're not going to, well, she already isn't a Time Lord really, or a Gallifreyan. Yeah, they've already taken that away, but they've taken it away from everyone. Chris Chibnall made sure that if he couldn't have it his way, he was going to break it for everyone. That's why he is worse than Rian Johnson. He is worse than Jar Jar Abrams, Kathleen Kennedy, Alex Kurtzman, any dickhead at Marvel Comics. He is the worst. Honestly, would get more entertainment watching a toilet flush for an hour than watching 10 seconds of anything with this version of Doctor Who. Exactly. Everyone in the States, don't waste your 45 minutes. Unless, don't waste your 45 minutes. You're better off, I don't know. I don't want to get crude here, but you're better off doing a lot of other things. Christian Del Orme for 20 Canadian pesos. Thanks for being you. No, thank you for being you. Thank you, everyone out there. I hope you had a very safe and happy New Year's Eve. Of course, I want 2021 to be much better than 2020. This isn't a great start, but it's much better talking to you. I'm automatically better because I'm talking to you guys. Christian Del Orme, thank you for the 5 Canadian pesos. Hail, Gary. Happy New Year, buddy. Happy New Year to you. You know, like I said before, there's no fixing the show. We are way beyond anything they can do to repair it. It just needs to be canceled at this point. It just needs to be canceled. And a lot of us, people already do this. I already do it. You all decide what your last Doctor Who episode is. How sad is that? How sad is that? And they cared so little. And they still care so little. At least with the, hearkening back to that Star Wars thing, at least with that moment, I know a lot of people at Lucasfilm woke up to what people who used the hashtag the Phantom Menace and what people on the outside of it were saying all along. People woke up. It took them long enough. I thought it was kind of beyond repair. And they will have to, if they take the time, if BBC gives a shit, if CBS gives a shit, which they probably don't. These are bankers. They don't watch these TV shows. Chris Chibnall might have been a Doctor Who fan when he was a kid. He's not a Doctor Who fan anymore. They don't listen to fans. It's very simple. Do not disrespect the past. Do not disrespect the characters that made your show popular. And Chris Chibnall committed the worst crimes. So we all saw when you brought Luke Skywalker back, and it was a CG Luke Skywalker. It wasn't even Mark Hamill for most of it. That was enough. That was enough. So hopefully they watch that and understand that. I've always said, I don't think the female Doctor will work. And, well, I have the last 2 seasons as my proof, and I haven't seen anything to the contrary. That being said, if you don't mess with canon, I could have just gone through it and forgotten about it. It still would have sucked to see her in anniversary episodes, but I probably could have moved on. But you knew, and they said from the start, this was their plan from the start, was to break the canon. And in this episode, they said, things have to change. They always change. I mean, these are very ambiguous statements, and of course, things have to change. Doctor Who changed all the time, though. This wasn't change for narrative reasons. This was change to change it. They all did it for the splash. They all did it for that first episode's ratings when she came back. And then reality struck right after that. I Have Harmony for £1. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. The Original Doc for £2. Let's start us some group therapy, and that's what we're here to do. Welcome, everyone. Hello. My name is Gary, and I am a former Doctor Who fan. I Have Harmony. Thank you again for the £2. What a miserable episode. Even Jack couldn't save it. No, that's how bad it was. He wasn't bad. John Barrowman wasn't bad. He tried. Don't stand in front of a mirror and say Dr. Karen 3 times while spinning around, or you'll turn into Chris Chinballs, says NK33 for $5. Exactly. Matthew Owen for $1. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. Nathaniel Larson for $5. Have you ever watched the despecialized HD Star Wars? Good stuff. Happy New Year. I have. I've actually, Nathaniel, I'm old. I watched the despecialized original versions in the movie theater. I did. The Invisible Man for $5. Gary, I wanted to thank you and everyone else for the hours of needed distraction. I often actively sought it out, and it was needed. To 2021. Hail to you. Yes, you're quite welcome, and thank you all for the much-needed distraction. Listen, we and I'll talk about it on Friday Night Tights when we get a little more serious. But we've all lost something or someone this year. All of us have. We all have a story, and that's not to minimize it at all. I saw a movie last night that I really liked, and I really liked the ending, and it says a lot for current times. And it's called Love and Monsters. It's a little romantic comedy with monsters in it, and I liked it a lot. But the end, holy crap, does it say a lot about last year. I'll talk about it on Friday Night Tights. The Invisible Man, thank you very much for the $5. Daruin01 for £5. Next series is in spring. BBC already said so via Radio Times. Oh, they're moving it up to spring. Okay. There we go. Well, then, unfortunately, we're going to have Doctor Who a lot sooner. Yeah, you know what? It did look like they had shot some of it because those quick cuts of the new companion, like he's on sets and stuff. Wow, they rushed that, didn't they? Mm-hmm, they did. Alex George for £5. I think to save the show, it needs to be canceled and give a series to 8th Doctor. Yes, or retcon Timeless Children plus recast Jodie, remove Chibnall. You need to remove Jodie and Chibnall and this entire staff. You need to bring Murray Gold back tomorrow. My God. Over Christmas Day, I was watching Doctor Who Christmas specials. And, I mean, technically the show has fallen on very hard times. The editing, again, is horrible. The cinematography is lackluster, especially since we're 10 years ahead, and Voyage of the Damned was shot better, edited better, better music, better acting, everything. That thing's a decade old. But when it comes to the 8th Doctor, there's nothing stopping them from doing that except Jodie Whittaker's freaking ego and Chris Chibnall's ego. It would be huge if they got Paul McGann for a couple of specials. Now, we are getting some specials, possibly. That's another hint. I don't know how. I don't work at the BBC, but they were supposed to get more episodes than they got this season, and they reduced it because of the coof. Do they still get the money for the other episodes they weren't able to shoot with? Was that still commissioned? Are they taking it back? I don't know, but I believe they could work some specials out of this. Possibly. And I talked about that in my Jodie leaving video, which is about a year old now. Spartacus UK for £10. Peace, Gary. Wishing you and the clan Nerdrotic a fun 2021. I hope you have we all need a fun 2021. We need some serious partying, and I don't partake in the booze or the 420, but I think everybody is owed a good party, at least. The best SGT for $20. Wow, thank you. Thank you for the donation. And thank you for, I appreciate that. If you have a question, just pop it in the chat. Put at Nerdrotic. Sergeant Politeness, thank you for the phallic unicorn for $1.49. Thundercats Ho for $2. I'm waiting for Dr. Karen to take the knee. She's about to. This is her last season. Now, is it going to be a last season and a special to say goodbye? That's what I'm hinting to. It's a possibility. But I mentioned that in my video. I've talked to, I know some stuff. Nothing really exciting. There's a couple of things that could be exciting. Well, none of it's exciting. Even when I reported that this is going to be Jodie's last season, that's not exciting. So what? Damage is done. Doesn't matter if she's leaving. She can stay 5 more seasons now. I don't care. The damage is done. And they will not undo it, ever. While there might be a ray of hope that Disney might think about erasing the sequel trilogy, which I still don't think they'll do, but I think there's much better chance of that happening. The sun will go out before the BBC makes that decision. Hail, Gary. I hate the BBC, says Stephen T. for £2. I do too. Defund the BBC. They have not treated they have not served the entirety of the British public with this show and with their network. And look at how, they've fallen on hard times. Some of the lowest Christmas ratings ever. Streaming services are coming. They can't compete. And a few years ago, they had 2 of the biggest shows in the world. And arguably the biggest show in the world. I think it was by far, actually. Top Gear. And Grand Tour just premiered a couple weeks ago. I need to watch that. Cleaner Ben, remember the Death Star? Remember Jawas? Remember, says Cleaner Ben for £2 exactly. Can you clarify the Patreon thing? Can we still donate there, or are you dropping it at all? Did I miss another square up? Please shout out to Darth Angelus. No, you did. Captain Spire, square ups are always on Nerdrotic Live. They always go to Nerdrotic Live and they're recorded. So I don't know. You can't miss them. I have one recorded that I'm going to pop up in about when I'm done here. But it's about 1/5 of what I need to do. Because we'll talk about it. It's been the holidays. I haven't had a lot of extra time to do things. I haven't done, I have 3 episodes of Star Trek Discovery to review, and I just haven't wanted to watch it. So I got a lot of making up to do, but no. And, Toxic Mailbag, somebody sent me this. Thank you. If you don't know what this is the very first printing of A Song of Ice and Fire. It was in Asimov's science fiction, and it's Daenerys' story. That's part of the Toxic Mailbag. Thank you. Kit Kat for £5. Wow, lots of emojis there. Oh, I'm hungry watching these emojis. And there's a hot dog. Happy New Year, everyone. An American in London sends best wishes. Kit Kat. At least it's an American cat in London and not an American werewolf. And Happy New Year, Kit Kat. Tim Jim for $4.99. Speaking of Bryan Adams, were you born in the summer of '69? I actually was. Yes, I was. There we go. What's up, Rebecca Gold? Thanks for watching. I forgot it was on. It sounds rubbish. I'm thankful I didn't watch it. Happy New Year, mate. Happy New Year to you, Ian. Give my best to everyone over there on that side of the pond. David Cooper for $5. Yaz was never good. I watched half of season 1 and don't recall any scenes where she did anything useful. No. Every companion has their moment. Every single one. Most there's a lot of fans who just watch the new Doctor Who, and that's okay. That's fine. That might even be the majority at this point. You can remember everything. Listen, I remember stuff Clara said, and I hated Clara. She was great in 2 episodes. Jenna Coleman, which was, I've said it before, but, Asylum of the Daleks, I love that episode. And The Snowmen, she was great. Absolutely great. And then they made her an insufferable you-know-what. T.M. Martin for $5.21. Brian, that's a good one, Gary. You're going to keep reviewing this shiz later this year? Hail to you and all. Yes, I am. Oh yeah, I'm not giving up the ghost on this one, T.M. Martin. Hell no. Scott Fitzgerald for £5. It's a good thing I'm studying to be a screenwriter. Oh, please hurry, Scott. I might fix this show and give it the respect it deserves. Well, you have my full support. I want to see Doctor Who series. Well, it'll be relaunched. So series 1, we'll say 2030, show run by Scott Fitzgerald. Let's make it happen. Jean Jacques for £20. Don't take it too hard, man. Let's hope for better things. No, listen. I would love for the show to get better, but I'm a realist. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I rewatch classic episodes damn near every day. I have my little VCR down here. Well, did I just say VCR? My God. You could tell I got 4 hours sleep last night. VCR. Holy shit. My regionless Blu-ray player that I watch all my classic episodes on constantly. There's always a disc in there, although there was Blake 7 in there last night. Adrian Barrera for $5. Hail, Gary. Happy New Year. You and yours are safe. Hope you and yours are safe. Can't wait for you to come to the great state of Texas. Can't wait to get there. Can't wait to get there. Thank you. Adrian Barrera for $2. Hope you and yours are safe. Same to you. Happy New Year, everyone. Hail Anthony Hopkins for 45 years sober. I love that Bear Business one for $5. He put up 45 years sober. And his sobriety date is not that far from mine. Mine just passed. So, yeah. Shane Smith, thank you for the £10. I appreciate it. Randomize for $1.99. Didn't watch it and won't watch it ever. Good. Don't waste your time. Mailman for $10. How the heck did Drunk get with Gina on a stream and Star Wars Theory and Jeremy? Loved that it happened. There is a glimpse of hope for the fandom, a new hope, you might say. Yes, Nathaniel. How did they do it? Drunk. Gina's cool. She interacts with fans positively, only positively. And she probably appreciated people standing up for her when she was getting attacked by the entirety of the media, the type of media that supports Doctor Who. Yeah, that's right. The ones that wanted to call her an ist or a phobe for doing absolutely nothing. Same things Drunk is called and Jeremy is called and I'm called. And it brought it, when Star Wars Theory got attacked, it brought attention to it. It did. And that's good. I told my story because of this show. And there's a couple of, and because of a couple of YouTubers out there, which I won't name. When you Google my name, Nerdrotic, which it's not something I regularly do. This was brought to my attention. About the 6th or 7th one down, at least it's not first anymore, is racist. My kids saw that. And it's all because of my opinions over a TV show. Now, come at me all you want. That's fine. And listen, it's part of life. But what Star Wars Theory got was tame. I mean, I'm glad it happened. I'm sorry it happened, but I'm glad it happened because it shone a light on Lucasfilm again, and everything that's going on over here at Doctor Who, same damn thing. It's the same damn thing. We're talking about a TV show. If you have a disagreement about it, if you like this show, great. Don't let me slow your roll. This might not be the best channel for you, but by all means, if you enjoy it, go off and enjoy it. I'm not going to make videos about you. I'm not going to come after you. It's not what it's about. I'm keeping it at Chris Chibnall, Jodie Whittaker, the BBC. But it gets a little ridiculous at times. It does. And some people deal with it different. Just because it doesn't bother me doesn't mean it shouldn't bother somebody else or they should feel bad. Yes, it should bother you if you're called a racist over and over again. So much so that there's Reddit threads about it, and then it ends up on Twitter, and then your kids see it. Yeah, that is something that should bother you. It's part of the game, though. It really is. Mother, should I trust the government? Hell no, son. Norwegian Kryptonian for 50 Norwegian krona. Throwing in a little Pink Floyd there. Makes my day even better. It's not much, but here's a little something, and thanks for helping me get through 2020. I do wish we could see Captain Jack meet Capaldi's doctor. It would have been so good. Both he and Matt Smith would have been great. And John Barrowman wanted to come back. He was asking to come back over and over again, and Moffat wouldn't do it. which is weird because Moffat was around at the creation of Captain Jack. Moffat created Captain Jack. So why didn't he want him back? I don't understand that. Nathaniel Larson for $10. I don't know if he created it, but he wrote the episode where he first appeared in. How the heck did... Oh, I read that one. As an avid hater of the last 2 seasons, I've enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one. Still some issues, but I hope it might be a step in the right direction. Says Will JD11 for £5. That's your opinion, and I will not. You are absolutely entitled to it. I completely disagree. The only thing I'll say is it wasn't woke. You saying VCR just gave me a flashback of watching hours of cable with my dad, recording on a couple of tapes that I used to watch because we were poor. Stupid Monkey Zero for $5. I can't say we were poor, but my dad was cheap. So yeah, I had 2 or 3 tapes I could record everything on, and I wore them out. I still have them, Stupid Monkey. I have commercials and shows I watched years ago. All right, folks. It is time for me to go. Oh, we got 4 more here, so I'm going to read them. SJM Almighty for £10. Happy New Year, Gary. Last episode for me is Peter Capaldi's last when I watched it again when he regenerated. I'm going to turn it off before he becomes that annoying non-doctor. Time to cancel it. Yes, it is. And thank you, SJ Almighty. It's good to see you again. Happy New Year. Zen Heart of the Fox Dragon for £4.99. Gary, Happy New Year. Hope you have a good year. I hope you have a great year. I want you all to have a great year. You survived. You're all survivors. We're all survivors. We made it through 2020. Not everybody did. Man. What did you think about Doctor Who Van Gogh scene? Mr. Body massage machine for £5. If you had a dry eye, you were inhuman. You're inhuman. That goes out to Ian Miles Chong or anybody else who wants to shame a grown man for crying. No, the Van Gogh scene, probably single best scene in the modern Doctor Who. Single best scene. I would argue, at least in all of Doctor Who, it's in the top 5 emotional scenes, maybe top 3. It gets me to this very day, and it's beautiful. If Lee came, and it's everything Doctor Who's about. That scene is everything of what Doctor Who is about. If Lee came back to life, would he play the Crow again? Gentle on James for $2. Yes, he would. Lee was brilliant as the Crow. I love the Crow. It's one of my favorite all-time superhero movies. I watch it again and again. It's a good Halloween movie, by the way. It's a very, very good Halloween movie. But yeah, he would literally be the Crow. Dash Fat Bastard for $5. Moffat wouldn't use him because Chibs hijacked Jack from Torchwood. That's true, and I don't know about that, because what Moffat said and what Chibnall has said and what Russell T Davies has said and what David Tennant has said is the person in charge of Torchwood is the person in charge of Doctor Who. It's not separate. They are all in the same. Stephen Yarnell for $9.99 is oh, by the way, they started the episode with a long time ago. Far, far away. It was cheap. Stephen Yarnell for $9.99. As a longtime fan of Doctor Who, and The Doctor Falls is the last episode I watched. I refused to watch his regeneration, and as far as I'm concerned, he never did. Happy New Year, Gary. Hail, Stephen. That's the best way to do it. Hell yeah. Stephen T for $5. I had a better year because of your channel. Thank you. Wow. I had a better year because of you. I wrote out my little end of year gratitude list last night. Maybe I'll share it. Maybe I won't someday. But that's great. Thank you, Stephen. I get flummoxed when I hear stuff like that. I'm grateful for that. George Mallow for $99.99. You crazy dude. What are you doing? Happy New Year, Gary. My best to you and yours. Can't wait till you move to Texas. Keep fighting the good fight. Hail Nerdrotic. Thank you, my friend. I will. I got a lot of crap for going on OAN. I'll discuss that on Friday, though. But I would do it again. To tell my story. Thank you, George. I appreciate you. That was very generous. North American Hammer for $2. Can't rain. It can't rain all the time. It can't. All right, I have to go. I'm sure I missed a couple of super chats. Lady Greymaster will gather them, and we will get to them at Friday Night Tights, okay? But I do have to go because the show starts in about 39 minutes. So please keep an eye out for notifications because YouTube probably not shoot out the notifications for Friday Night Tights. I can't believe that there was this many of you here when it was unlisted. I didn't even realize it was unlisted, so that's fucking incredible. 1,500 people here on an unlisted video. Sorry, hijacked for Torchwood back in 2007. Oh, Dash Fast Bastard. You didn't have to put a super chat in there. Thank you, Dash Fat Bastard. You're right. You are. You are, yes, for the Showtime for Miracle Day. I really liked the beginning of that, and I didn't like where it ended up. But it's better than anything with Jodie Whittaker. Favorite companion goodbye for me? It's got to be Donna. Not a dry eye in the house. Happy New Year, dude. And that is Zebtepic Games. Is Zeptic Games? I'll figure that out by Friday Night Tights. I'm sorry. Christy Ricardo, thank you for the £5. I appreciate the donation. And Flicks by Cody for $2. Hey, Gary, read this later. No, I'm reading it now. Okay, now I'm going to go watch Friday Night Tights with special guest Just Some Guy and, of course, the usual suspects who are Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers. He's only going to be there a little while. He's got to do some family stuff. I believe Ryan's going to be joining us from RK Outpost. Tom from Midnight's Edge and Midnight's Edge After Dark. We have Comics Division. We have, of course, Papa Odin, OMB Reviews. And, of course, we have an heel versus babyface. And maybe Quarter Black Garrett will be there. Maybe he won't. You know, he's got that other gig that I understand, but he pops in when he can. So join us in a little bit, folks. We'll be talking about this and Star Wars and a whole lot more.